Hello everyone, I am Grishma Sharma and I am a student coordinator at Marvel. So the coordinator that I am for is a domain called AIML. All of you must have heard of this subject, it's quite trending, it's a huge buzzword these days. So let's try to break the topic down from the big buzzword that it is to something that will help you get started in the field. Maybe you have a lot of interest in it, but you don't know where to start, you don't know what exactly it is. It's a lot of hype. And we want to start with breaking down that hype into something that is reachable and something that you must have learned a lot or you must have experienced a lot of in all of your day-to-day observations. Okay? So, machine learning basically means a machine has to learn something. Okay? And what does it have to learn is the question. Every day, everything that we process from our brains is tons and tons of data. You wouldn't even realize how much data it is. For example, I'm talking to you, I'm moving my hands, I'm realizing I'm moving my hands. I can see you, the camera. I can see you, I can think that I can see you, I can talk, I can process what word I'm going to say next. I have this whole store of knowledge in my head and I'm frequently accessing all of that knowledge and I'm getting one specific term in that knowledge. I'm trying to break it down and push it together into one sentence. Just think about how at all you would do that in terms of writing some algorithm for that, right? Can you think how much effort it takes? It's a huge, huge endeavor to try to bring the human brain and all of it's working completely into something that is palpable, something that you can emulate. So that is machine learning, neural networks, all of that. It's just a way for our computers to process data better. And this data can not just be like text data, it can be audio signals, it can be images, it can be just pixels, not even entire images. It can be words, letters, numbers, all of that rolled into something that we can process is a machine learning algorithm. So now there are different kinds of algorithms and the basis for machine learning is actually statistics. Okay, so here's a statistical problem that I'll give you, and this is something that was actually the forerunner of artificial intelligence. Okay, so this problem is you are an astronomer. There is a comet passing by, and you know how often the comet comes. You, as well as like 70-80 other astronomers, are monthly taking notes. They're tracking down the distance with all of the telescopes you have. So right now, one thing happens, this comet disappears behind some other celestial body, right? Now you don't know where it is, but by the time it comes out, you're not able to identify its position at all. Okay, this is a very simple problem for us because we have so many tools now, but at that time all they had was a repository of written stuff and very bad telescopes, really bad telescopes. So how exactly would you be able to identify the position of something when you know the previous positions, right? So this is essentially a statistic problem. You know that a curve can pass like that. Okay, you have historic evidence of that curve. So you know that its previous points are there. Now all you have to do is find the next points. This is very simple. We do it in engineering maths in fact, and it's called curve fitting. All of machine learning is essentially curve fitting. Each and every algorithm is curve fitting. Neural networks is curve fitting. All you have to do is you have to get a set of points. You have to match them to some graph. The graph may not be a straight line. Sometimes it is you're lucky, but most of the time it's not. And you have to fit it to to the given information, such that when you have a previous information, you can be able to make predictions. Okay. So these predictions actually can be made with a few different parameters essentially. Now you can tell our parameters in the question that we just thought of was basically the time of the month, the season, the distance that they calculated, and also a lot of the stuff that we ignore is generally parallax, huge errors. Okay, so all of these are parameters. Now, if you want a prediction, you can make a prediction in two ways. Okay, In one of these ways, you can make a prediction blindly. All you need to know is just the final outcome. You don't need any variables, any relationship. You don't need you don't need the final outcomes relationship to one of the variables. But you can in the end get an outcome. For example, you have many cats and dogs. You can look at all of the cats and dogs and you can get a new animal. It's either a cat or a dog. You know that much for sure. But do you have to know all of its variables? Do you have to know its relationship to like how thick the tail is or how thin the tail is, how long the ears are, how small the body is? You need to know all that to be able to make a prediction. But you technically don't need to know exactly what the tail length is. You don't need it. Your algorithm needs it. But for your output to exist, you don't need all of the variable relationships. Okay? So this kind of algorithm is generally something that neural networks emulate. It's a very flexible algorithm. It can follow most kinds of curves except for straight line curves. Those are a little difficult with flexibility because there are problems like your algorithm actually learns to by heart the data, and that's a huge issue obviously. And another type of algorithm is one where you can essentially find out. Suppose you have a house, okay? You have the locality of the house, you have the previous occupants of the house, or how new the house is, you have all of the plumbing details, everything that you would want to look for in a house. So to find the price of a house, if you were a buyer, all you would want is the price. But if you were someone who is researching the prices, you would want to know, okay, oh, it's in this neighborhood. Now how much will the price improve? Now if it's a Jayanagar house, of course, property values are really high there. But so that's one thing. Now if you're researching, that's something you should keep in mind. Then if the house is crumbling old, 100 years old, not to say that 100 years old stuff is not beautiful, our college is great. But if you have a look at that, if it's a super old house, nobody will want to live there. The prices will plummet. And if you also can look at all of the plumbing details that are there, how old the switches are, how modern the taps are, if the connection lines are good, very important things, please take in mind before you buy something. Okay, if you're trying to find out the relationship of the prediction, the future result, all you have to find, and you also want to know how each of the variables that you have impact that future value. That's another kind of algorithm called a regressive algorithm. Okay, so you basically have two types. Regressive algorithms are kind of inflexible. They're very good for straight line curves and stuff like that. But neural networks are very flexible. They don't, but it's very difficult to find out the relationship of one variable to the final outcome with neural networks. So these are the two basic kinds of machine learning algorithms. We'll come to you with more. You can always visit Marvel, get in touch with any of the Marvel students, and we'll be happy to help you. So thank you.